this is when I talk about cognitive warfare and it controls how you think, and when I see what we think, or like we talk about black people, well, you got to be careful. You don't know what's inside the mind of these people no more. Like the identity has been completely rewired in the capacity to where you look like my brother, but on the inside, your wiring is completely alien on how you could come up with this logic. But because your identity is now disconnected from your people, because you are connecting into these small isolated groups. Oh, but that's a brother in Christ. Oh, but that's a conservative, right? We start breaking down and fractioning into the groups, similar to when Africa picked up 1,000 flags, took up 1,000 languages. Now the people are so disconnected that some of them are going to war with each other. Same thing in America. We picked up 1,000 different flags. We separated ourselves from Southern Negro, Northern Negro, Western Negro. You understand me? We start picking up all these different affiliations. So now we might say the word black as a description of our soul, if anything. But our character and our identity is different. And this is why you have to focus today on forming groups of people that you know you are aligned with. You have to. Because it's sickening out here. It's sickening out here. See, I would believe those people that point out the flaws of black culture if they pointed out the vultures of black culture at the same time. It's easy to take a young man that grew up in poverty, barely has an education, barely has a family dynamic. You understand me? Barely has opportunities, and by opportunities, his ability to even think, because when the literacy is low, his cognitive ability to seek opportunity beyond the trauma and the stress of his reality decreases and diminishes. And people who were born in privilege speaking on that have no place. If you weren't born in these spaces of trauma, you have no place speaking on the mentalities that come from that and what's required for you to evolve out of that. This is why I don't want to hear people, even if you might be right, because you have no idea what it's like to come out of an environment and overcome it. It ain't so easy when you grow up in privilege and you have things given to you and you have opportunities given to you. Yes, you can become obsessed with your religious values and try to snout your nose up at everybody else. But these young men growing up, especially these young men today, they growing up in an environment they don't even know the reality we know. When they go on their phones, social media is trying to steal their mind, get them to drift away and be distracted. When they look in their reality, all they see is poverty around them. Their mom doesn't have good literacy. Their pops has disappeared or doesn't have literacy. No financial literacy. No opportunities. They listening to the music. It is low frequency and reinforcing negative thoughts and identity. Their friend just died, got killed, drug overdose. The reality that they living in is a psyop. You try breaking out of that. That's why it's only a few of us who do and rise out of that situation. And typically we try to get back because we know how hard it is to get out the trap. Then you have large corporations who prey upon these conditions. Oh, let's make some more of that music. Oh, let's bring some more of those restaurants in those environments and capture those food deserts where there's poverty-based economics to where we can charge them more, even though they're getting less. So let's send the military in there to deal with them. But when you got in trouble in your neighborhood and you were able to call somebody because your pops or your moms had a connection, it ain't the same. But let's call the military on these young men, because it's nothing we can do, even with all our psychologists, with all our scientists, with all our technology. It's just nothing we can do to help out these young black men, because it's something innately wrong with them. And that's what they were pushing. They were pushing that it is something biologically wrong with them, that it is just the culture, that it is no fixing them, that they just need to be locked away into a private prison industry. That's what they was pushing. That's the type of men that y'all celebrating. With all the technology in the world, we can become a multi-planetary species. We can solve for immortality. We can use CRISPR gene editing to go into the genome of the human being and to change certain genes and features about yourself. We can decide to utilize eugenics to decide which babies are born and which ways they are born. And we can figure out how to create robots, but we just cannot fix this hood problem. It's just something wrong with them. No, this fake Christian reality of these white men that are supremacists, that are backed by trillion-dollar companies. You think they doing something because they getting on the microphone and they speaking white supremacy in a clever, manipulating manner to degrade these young men? Nah, if they cared and if they was real Christians, then how come they don't build mechanisms and tools and technologies and resources and centers and go to the root of these things and really fight aggressively to change that problem? If that ain't the type of Christianity that you following, I don't want it. Because that ain't how Jesus act. Y'all disrespect Jesus, smack him in the face every time y'all do something like that. Because he went against the empire. He didn't go against the people. He went against the empire, not the people. He didn't blame the people for the conditions. Say Jay, he said to the great man when he called George Floyd a scumbag, when he took that dead man's name in vain, and he called him a scumbag. When he called that man a scumbag, because he believed that he deserved to die because that man had some drugs in his system. And it's not that even if you believe that, but to disrespect that man's name, to disrespect George Floyd's family online. To disrespect his family. He had a mother, he had cousins, he has a daughter. Disrespected that man. You don't get no sympathy from me after that. I don't believe in disrespecting the dead. We don't do that. So when I see black people defending, and this was a good man, Savannah, just show me how y'all cow down and bow down. And something sick in your spirit that you don't even realize you've been infested with. Because you don't have enough love for your people, but you claim to have so much love for your religion. Barely got love for your people, but you love your religion. See, I don't mind a good debate, that's fine. But disrespect is not debate. And people say they debated respectfully. No, it wasn't. Show me what scholar was debated. This is a 31-year-old man debating kids. Just getting out of high school. With barely any intellect. We're so easily satisfied, so easily impressed. But again, watch out, because these young kids that's coming up after him, they about to get even more disrespectful. If your death can radicalize a group of kids, if your death can radicalize a group of kids to be even more radical and disrespectful, then what does that say about your life? Now listen, this is their MLK moment, I guess. This is their MLK moment. It was horrific to see the thing happen on social media, because you have to think about what that does to the psyche and the mind of young children watching those things. But then we got to think about, what does it do to constantly see black men die on screen? So I'll tell you what it psychologically does. Psychologically, it decreases your testosterone, because we don't want to see loss. We don't want to see ourselves lose. It was not a good thing for them to see. Why you think it made all these grown men cry? Now you have to think about the real question that you should be focusing on. The real question you should be focusing on is why he was killed. I know they can say the left. What the hell does that mean exactly? This was a professional hit from 200 yards away, and the shooter got away. That's military training. And it doesn't make sense. He's been speaking already. The man doesn't help Donald Trump get elected. So why all of a sudden now? Why in front of the world? Because they could have found many times to take him out, especially somebody as that trained as they were. And why him? I don't even think that he was the voice that was the necessary one to take out if we going after people. But why him? It's easy to say. You got to stop saying the words deep state, the left. These are just words. Let's get down to who. The left just means like the whole political group of 50 million people. Like, if you really want to, y'all really care, now we got to talk about, you got to talk about that real talk. Talk that real talk now. Talk that real talk. Go look at, what was it? I ain't talking about he talked about the Ukrainian white girl and the black guy situation. That wasn't, that ain't, go see what he was talking about. Go see how he started shifting over because he got tired of being controlled by them folks. He got tired of his integrity being tested. Oh man, this is another conversation. We having the wrong conversation. And then if that happened, this is what you got to understand. You got to understand that all those people around him, the Trumps, the Elons, they know who did it. Did they know who did it? Was that a warning shot for them? Was that a warning shot for everybody else?